Yo, 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 yo. Yo, yo. It's the homie Mac, music, art, culture, knowledge, reporting live from the Dogon. Each one teach one, each one teach one. Peace and love. Real quick, this is a session of Mac Minutes, real quick. Shout out to my frat brother KJ. You are the impetus, the inspiration behind this Mac Minute session. I will definitely send this to you. Because I didn't feel like writing like a litany, a whole paragraph in response to your question. Your question was a response to a status I made where I essentially called out the Democrats. I said that I'm tired of Democrats using a black aesthetic to get votes, and then shit on us and forget about us a lot of times when they become the incumbency. But yeah, real quick, like, share, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel 82 Kings. I'm hyped. Subscribe to the YouTube channel 82 Kings. It's election day, so I'm in my feelings. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel 82 Kings. Follow the movement on Instagram at MacTV_82. But yeah, let's get to it. So, I live in Atlanta. Southwest Atlanta to be exact, the SWATs, Zone 3, whatever nomenclature you want to use, but yeah, Southwest Atlanta. And through, I want to say from Boulevard all the way to Cleveland Avenue, all the way to Northside Drive, throughout the whole city. The Democrats have been on it for this runoff between Ossoff and Loeffler and Perdue between Ossoff and Perdue and Warnock and Loeffler. It's been a whole, like, the Democrats haven't been playing. They've been putting up posters everywhere. Vote, vote, vote. What happened? They even have posters with I was told with Malcolm X on it saying to go vote. I saw a poster with Martin Luther King, Barack Obama, and John Lewis. They're definitely using icons from the civil rights epoch. They've been using a black aesthetic. They've been using the struggle of ADOS as pretty much the foundation to promulgate democratic votes. And my thing is, because of that, you've acknowledged our struggle. You've acknowledged our struggle for fundamental human rights. You've acknowledged, how we have had to go blow for blow with systemic oppression to this day. And I'm saying all that to say, well, look, I expect something in return. If Ossoff and Warnock get in, the Democrats have no excuse. No excuse. Things need to be done to the benefit of black people. And essentially that's what I posted on my status that KJ responded to. I said things need to be done solely to the benefit of black people. If you're going to use us as an aesthetic to propagandize or promulgate a means to get votes, then yeah, I'm expecting something in return to our benefit, because you solely used us as a reference point to get votes. I'm not playing. I mean that. And KJ's response to that was, well, outside of reparations, Matt, what do you want for black people? And again, I didn't feel like writing a whole dictionary, encyclopedia, PhD thesis. So I'm making this video in response. And ultimately, what comes to mind is the Black Panthers 10-point plan, 10-point program, which was inspired by the Nation of Islam. But yeah, my whole stance again is we need to confront systemic oppression, and I feel like the 10-point program that the Panthers had laid out, it speaks to what I'm saying. Number one, we want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our black community. We want full employment for our people. We want to end to the robbery of the capitalists of our black and oppressed communities. Because we know that, by and large, black people don't own anything in their communities. It's essentially a colony. And we have people who come in and pretty much are making a killing. And they have no stake in the community other than just making money from the community. So it's almost like bloodsuckers of the poor. We want decent housing fit for shelter of human beings. We want education for our people that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. We want education that teaches us our true history and our role in the present day society. 6, we want all black men to be exempt from military service. I'm with that. I come from a military family, so if you want to serve, cool. But we paid for our place in the society in blood. This soil was built off black labor. America became an economic superpower via slavery. We made cotton king. We want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people. Unfortunately, police brutality has something that has been very ubiquitous through the black experience in this country. We know that by and large, the police are a byproduct of the slave narrative, of the narrative of slavery, specifically how what was known as patty rollers, the people who were looking, essentially the slave patrollers, not patty rollers. Slave patrollers birthed the patty rollers, but essentially it went from looking for renegade slaves. That same initiative mutated into the police force, or transitioned into the police force. And everybody always talks about defund the police. Defund doesn't mean dismantle. I think it's very interesting. Nobody's saying dismantle the police force. You have people who are criminally, they're just criminally inclined for various reasons, and there are people who need to be protected from that inclination. So I have no problem with police officers that want to serve and protect. No problem with that. The thing is, a lot of the money, somebody broke down, they did a financial breakdown of the police department, and a lot of the money doesn't even necessarily go to actually patrolling the community or protecting the community. It goes to other things, So it's like the trickle-down economics, it just needs to be restructured. We could take some of that money and actually help communities become more solidified, put that money into schools, because, we've been defunding schools since forever, and nobody bats an eye. But anyway, what else we got? We want freedom for all black men held in federal, state, county, city prisons, and jails. Now, with that part, it's a little bit nuanced for me. I think there are some brothers that do need to be locked up. But as far as people who are political prisoners, people who have nonviolent offenses, people who are, I feel like there are people who are redeemable. And we live in a criminogenic society. We live in a police state. And I think things should be engineered towards rehabilitation as opposed to just locking people up and making money. We know that essentially a whole economy has been created from the justice system, the legal system. A whole economy has been created. Prison industrial complex, school to prison pipeline. It's almost like, why would they want to solve the problem when it's fiscally more beneficial to let the problem persist? And I think when criminality, within a criminogenic society, when criminality becomes profitable, it creates a demand for crime. And again, like I mentioned a while back, there was a prison warden in Wisconsin who sued the state of Wisconsin because he didn't have no prisoners. He wanted more prisoners. So again, it creates a demand for crime. My thing is, let's take some of this money and invest in community centers, invest in education. We know there's that criminality and education essentially are binaries of one another. So let's do things that facilitate growth that facilitate sound minds, that facilitate a thought process that is self-sustaining. That doesn't have to that doesn't become relegated to criminality, because we know a lot of times in a capitalist infrastructure, when you're systemically and institutionally suppressed, crime is a rational response to said oppression. With the recidivism in jails, with prisons, like, you can't get a legal job. You can a legit job. You can legitimately be discriminated against because of your record. So, hence the recidivism. Hence, people resorting to criminality because they can be legally discriminated against. What else we got? We want all black people, when brought to trial, to be tried in court by a jury of their peer group or people from their black communities as defined by the Constitution of the U.S. We want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, and peace. KJ, this is the whole breakdown. I need John Ossoff. I need Warnock. I need Joe Biden. Your girl Kamala Harris. Who said she's not gonna do anything strictly for black people, and who just recently fabricated a whole story from that was not her experience, but actually came from Martin Luther King. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. I need them to do things for black people. Don't use a black aesthetic. Don't talk about how black people got you in office, and then hit us with the Scooby-Doo. Black people, what? What? What they want? No. We're going to hold you accountable. We got Trump out. Okay, cool. Well, he's still fighting, trying to sustain it. Don't even let me get on that phone call. But anyway, my whole thing was always, okay, we want to get rid of Trump. Cool. Let's get rid of Trump. But let's hold these Democrats accountable. These Democrats need to be held accountable. Our vote as African Americans, as black people, is worth more than an aesthetic. Listen to what I'm saying. Our vote is worth more than an aesthetic. I think at its core, it's like, I'm reading the Communist Manifesto right now by Frederick Engels and Karl Marx. I will do a book review, MACK and MACK book review series. I'll do a book review on it eventually. But the things about Marx and Engels, they've helped me, and not even just now, because I've read them before this, but even in college, the main sentiment that I got from them, and I quote Frederick Engels, all history is class struggle. It's the haves versus the have-nots, the serfs versus the owners. It's the bourgeoisie versus the proletariat and the lumpen proletariat. Proletariat being working class people, lumpen proletariat being people economically, institutionally, below the proletariat, the lumpen proletariat, the lowest of the low. At its core, everything is class struggle. I think race are just markers. Race is a marker to even justify certain things. We otherize people, put them in these subcategories. Oh, those are the bad guys. Those are the people that need to be locked up. Those are the people who need to be disenfranchised and cut off. I'm not going to sit here and say, because the dynamic that comes into play now is capitalism versus communism. I don't agree with all the tenets of communism. I think that people should have the right to be self-determined. And by self-determination, I mean being able to become socially mobile and control their own destiny. One of the things that Marx always said was, when you become dependent on a system, you become easily to oppress. But the thing that sucks is when you're dealing with the capitalist framework, someone has to get fucked. Let me say it again. Excuse my language, mama, because I know you be watching. When you're dealing with the capitalist infrastructure, someone has to get fucked. It is geared around winners and losers. There's always going to be a criminalized class, and there's going to always be a perpetual criminalized class, impoverished class, and class that is just disenfranchised. By and large, there has been black people since we got off the boat. And what I understand is being having a communal mindset, understanding that my reality is affected by other people's realities, and all life is interconnected. I understand that as black people go up, there'll just be another disenfranchised class. And that's where my issue comes into play with capitalism. Like, you can't reach an equilibrium. Somebody has to get fucked for it to work. I know I'm cursing a lot, but I'm feeling some kind of way. Yeah, that's my gripe. I just think, I guess at its core, I'm for democratic socialism. I feel like, people should be able to own property. People should be able to own businesses. And I don't think that the state should necessarily be in complete autonomy. That's what communism says. I don't agree with that to an extent. I just think things need to be regulated. It's like a parent having 3 children and the parent has food in his or her hand. They're not only going to feed one child. They're not going to only make it so that a couple of their children have access to food and the others starve. We just should be able. Everybody should be able to have a livable wage. It makes no sense that we live in the quote unquote wealthiest nation in the world, and we have people living under bridges. We have people who are classified as working homeless. That's bogus and insane and inane in every sense. But yeah, I could go on for days with this. Go vote. Your vote matters. Your lives matter. It's the homie Mac, man. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube channel 82 Kings. Follow the movement on Instagram at MacTV_82. Shout out to my frat brother KJ. Ice cold. I hope I'm making sense. I hope you have a better understanding of my politics. I think black people specifically need transformative politics.